On my last video, I did a beginner snake roll video, and it was pointed out to me when I made the longer cast, I wasn't using my bottom hand to create the either incline curve of the rod tip path or the just incline path that's when you go like this, push down and away with your bottom hand or half circle, however you do it, that makes the top of the rod go up, which sets the anchor, and it pushes your arm away when you do it, your bottom arm, your lower hand, so you're all cocked and ready to apply the forward stroke. So anyway, I'm going to do a few of them, and it's really cool how that bottom hand, when you push away, sets your anchor for you. So I'm going to do some underhand and some Scandinavian casting. I'm on the Clark Fork River with a small wet fly and a 20-foot mono leader that I just threw together. It's not very well balanced, so it doesn't fly very good, but I wanted to experience some underhand casting with the long mono leader. So I'm working on my spiral spey, I guess you'd call it. It's just draw a little counterclockwise circle after the lift and then rotate the body for a change of direction. It's a really sweet cast for changing direction. The next cast is more of a Scandi style single spey where I lift, push out with my bottom hand before the fly takes off, push out with the bottom hand right before it takes off, and then rotate my body, drift into position, pull down with the bottom hand and the top hand down and forward for the forward cast. It's not an ideal cast. None of these casts are perfect. The next one is a more of a underhand cast where the tip is lifted with the butt of the rod on my upper thigh. Then I rotate my body, and when the rod passes in front of my face, I do a half circle with my bottom hand, drift and cast forward, pulling down with the bottom hand and back into my body, and down and forward with the top hand. I like to use the spiral, or draw the little circle with my rod tip counterclockwise for a change of direction cast. Rotate my body, then push down and out, actually down and in a circle more. The rotation of the body helps with setting the anchor, but pushing down with the bottom hand will set the anchor and allow you to make a change of direction cast. You'll see some of the anchors look like they're going pretty steep downhill, so I probably have some crumpled anchors going. Probably see some creep, maybe some tailing loops. It's all part of the learning curve, and that's why I practice to get better and try to share some of the things I learn along the way. I'm not a professional instructor by any means, but I do believe what Albert Einstein said, that if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. So I try to share what I've learned from my personal experience to help people who are struggling or striving to learn. What I do know is that the bottom of my D-loop or V-loop is shaped by the path of my rod during the sweep, whether it be an incline rod tip path, which means it sweeps from low to high or from semi-high to higher, or whether it be in the form of a climbing curve, which also helps make a light anchor, which is essential. So you can minimize the overuse of the top hand to set your anchor by using your bottom hand. Another thing I know for sure is a big D-loop and a light anchor make for efficient, effortless casting. And if you have a small D-loop and sticky anchors, you will be tired after a day of fishing. Another thing I've learned is a wide casting angle, meaning a forward cast that begins at 2 o'clock and ends around 10 o'clock, give or take it just a little, will prevent tailing loops and allow for plenty of bottom hand power in the forward cast. And if you do start using your bottom hand for a lot more casting, it'll be easier to implement it when you need it more. So it's a good practice to use a lot of bottom hand in the other parts of the cast besides just the forward cast. So if you creep, say you're trying to cast from 10 o'clock position to 2 o'clock and you creep forward before you actually do your forward cast, and you cast from 1 to 10, you might get a tailing loop. In this snake roll cast, I actually don't have my dominant foot forward, which I prefer, but I'm wading in really slippery rocks. I'm facing downstream when I wade, and I don't want to change my feet position, so I made the cast with my wrong foot forward, or that's just the way some guys cast anyway. Here I have my dominant foot forward, and that's how I prefer to cast. So you might see some creep happening in my videos, some tailing loops. That's why I practice to get better, and hopefully this will help you if you're learning to cast yourself, if you're interested in underhand or Scandi style casting.